Welcome to this edition of FDA Tobacco Compliance Webinars, information and education for tobacco product manufacturers and importers, sponsored by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and its Center for Tobacco Products, or CTP, Office of Compliance and Enforcement, Division of Enforcement and Manufacturing. In today's webinar, we will discuss updates to certain applicable requirements of FDA's laws and regulations that apply to tobacco products and are verified and enforced at the time the tobacco products are offered for import into the United States. Tobacco products imported or offered for import into the United States must comply with all the applicable requirements under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, or FD&C Act, as amended by the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act and its implementing regulations. FDA reviews imported shipments of tobacco products to determine whether the products may be legally admitted for introduction into U.S. commerce. While primary responsibility for administering the nation's laws related to imports, exports, and collection of duties resides with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, also known as CBP, within the Department of Homeland Security. FDA is responsible for determining whether a tobacco product offered for importation complies with the regulatory requirements that permit the tobacco product to be legally marketed and distributed in the U.S. CBP and FDA collaborate closely to fulfill their respective responsibilities. The topics we will discuss today include FDA's jurisdiction over tobacco products, which now includes those containing nicotine from any source, a brief overview of FDA requirements that apply to all tobacco products domestically marketed and distributed, including those offered for import into the U.S., an overview of key import processes, and recent import alerts. The FD&C Act, as amended by the Tobacco Control Act, authorizes FDA to regulate the manufacture, marketing, sale, and distribution of tobacco products in the United States. This includes tobacco products offered for import into the U.S. FDA is authorized to regulate all tobacco products, including products made or derived from tobacco or containing nicotine from any source, such as non-tobacco nicotine or synthetic nicotine. This is because the FD&C Act was amended effective April 14, 2022, so that Section 201RR1 of the FD&C Act now defines a tobacco product as any product made or derived from tobacco or containing nicotine from any source that is intended for human consumption, including any component, part, or accessory of a tobacco product, except for raw materials other than tobacco used in manufacturing a component, part, or accessory of a tobacco product. Note that the term tobacco product does not mean an article that is a drug, device, or combination product as defined by the FD&C Act. It also does not mean a food if the food contains no nicotine or no more than trace amounts of naturally occurring nicotine. Section 920 of the FD&C Act defines a tobacco product manufacturer as any person, including any repacker or relabeler, who a. manufactures, fabricates, assembles, processes, or labels a tobacco product, or b. imports a finished tobacco product for sale or distribution in the United States. As such, importers of finished tobacco products are considered manufacturers of tobacco products, and requirements that apply to manufacturers also apply to importers. In particular, importers must ensure the tobacco products they import comply with all applicable requirements set forth in the FD&C Act and its implementing regulations. These requirements include market authorization, labeling requirements, and user fee payments. For a list of FDA's requirements, please visit our manufacturing webpage, which is included in the resources at the end of this presentation. Requirements that apply to importers of tobacco products include market authorization, labeling requirements, and user fee payments. Under Section 910 of the FD&C Act, a new tobacco product is generally required to have a market authorization order issued by the FDA. A new tobacco product is any tobacco product that was not commercially marketed in the United States as of February 15, 2007, or any modification of a tobacco product where the modified product was commercially marketed in the United States after February 15, 2007. The market authorization order requirement applies to both products made or derived from tobacco and those that contain nicotine from any source. It applies to finished tobacco products, including finished component, parts of tobacco products. FDA may issue a market authorization order under the substantial equivalence or exemption from demonstrating substantial equivalence pathway for a new tobacco product after finding 1. The product is substantially equivalent to a predicate tobacco product, Section 910A, 2A of the FD&C Act, or 2. The product to be exempt from the requirements of substantial equivalence. Otherwise, Section 910 of the FD&C Act requires a pre-market tobacco product application, or PMTA, be submitted and granted before the new tobacco product may be legally imported. Any company who wishes to legally import a new tobacco product into the U.S. must ensure that the tobacco product has FDA marketing authorization in effect. The PMTA pathway has accepted applications for all classes of tobacco products. All pre-market applications for e-cigarettes submitted and accepted by FDA to date have been through the PMTA pathway. To date, FDA has authorized 23 tobacco-flavored e-cigarette products and devices for marketing in the U.S. These are the only e-cigarette products that currently may be lawfully sold in the U.S. Currently, no product containing non-tobacco derived nicotine, such as synthetic nicotine, has received marketing authorization. For a list of tobacco products that received marketing granted orders through the PMTA pathway, please visit our Pre-Market Tobacco Product Marketing Granted Orders website. Please note, as stated on the website, marketing order postings may be delayed by several weeks. All unapproved new tobacco products without a marketing order in effect are subject to enforcement action. FDA closely monitors industry compliance with tobacco laws and regulations under the FD&C Act and implementing regulations and takes action when violations occur. Actions FDA may initiate in response to violations include civil money penalties, seizure, and/or injunction. Also, tobacco products offered for import into the United States that appear to be in violation of the FD&C Act may be detained or refused admission. Please visit our website for a summary of FDA advisory and enforcement actions taken against industry for marketing unauthorized tobacco products in the U.S. FDA will continue to take action against anyone manufacturing, distributing, importing, or selling unauthorized tobacco products, especially those most used by youth. Now we will discuss the importation of tobacco products. As we have discussed at the beginning of this webinar, CBP has the primary responsibility for administering the nation's laws related to imports, exports, and collection of duties. But FDA is responsible for determining whether a tobacco product offered for importation complies with the regulatory requirements that permit the tobacco product to be legally marketed and distributed in the U.S. At the time of importation, FDA reviews import entries using various automated screening systems to speed the review process and allow resources to be targeted on high-risk products. During the screening process, high-risk products and those products with entries that are incomplete or inaccurate may be subject to additional review, including physical examination or sampling. Import alerts are an important import enforcement tool. If FDA has sufficient evidence that a tobacco product warrants detention without physical examination, DWPE, FDA may issue an import alert. The violation may be related to the product, manufacturer, shipper, and/or other information. When imported products violate or appear to violate FDA laws and regulations, FDA may detain the product and issue a notice of FDA action with the designation of detained. The responsible party is given an opportunity to respond and/or correct. Otherwise, the product can be refused admission. A refusal is FDA's final decision that a detained shipment is in violation of FDA laws and regulations. A refused shipment must either be destroyed or exported under the supervision of CBP and FDA within 90 days of the refusal notice. Now, let's switch gears and talk about two new import alerts. The first is Import Alert 98-06, titled Detention Without Physical Examination of New Tobacco Products Without Required Marketing Authorization. This import alert includes a list of firms and their products that may be detained without physical examination because they are new tobacco products lacking the required FDA marketing authorization. Products meeting the criteria of the import alert may be detained without physical examination. Import Alert 98-08, titled Detention Without Physical Examination of Certain Regulated Tobacco Products Lacking Requirements Specified in Section 903(a)(2) of the FD&C Act, is to prevent entry into the United States of certain misbranded tobacco products. Under Section 903(a)(2) of the FD&C Act, a tobacco product is misbranded if in package form and it does not bear a label containing certain information, including 1. The name and place of business of the tobacco product manufacturer, packer, or distributor. 2. An accurate statement of the quantity of the contents in terms of weight, measure, or numerical count. And 3. The statement, sale only allowed in the United States. This import alert includes a list of firms and their products that may be detained without physical examination because they appear to be misbranded under Section 903(a)(2). Products meeting the criteria of the import alert may be detained without physical examination. FDA provides a series of webinars for tobacco product manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and importers that discuss FDA's tobacco product statutes and regulations and provide compliance education and information. For a list of CTP's other webinars, visit our webpage titled FDA Tobacco Compliance Webinars. The link to CTP's webinar webpage is provided on the screen. We will also provide it and additional CTP resources at the end of this presentation. We have some great resources and additional webinars for you on our website, and we encourage you to review these materials. Please also check our website often for updates and sign up for the Center's CTP News and CTP Connect email services. If you have any questions regarding the topics discussed in this webinar, please contact askctp@fda.hhs.gov or 1-877-287-1373. In addition, the Office of Small Business Assistance provides technical and other non-financial assistance to support small tobacco businesses in complying with the FD&C Act. The Office of Small Business Assistance can be contacted by email at smallbiz.tobacco@fda.hhs.gov. You can also access ORA's Contact Us page and FDA's Imported Tobacco homepage for additional imports information. Thank you for your participation in this webinar brought to you by the Center for Tobacco Products, protecting our kids and the nation's health from tobacco.